Okay, so in this session we'll see how to merge multiple internal tables into one final internal table which we use to display the output. So in general we call that as final internal table or output internal table. That final internal table what we are using to display the output. So final internal table nothing but it contains fields from multiple internal tables, like combination of multiple internal table records. We are going to merge this multiple internal tables records into one single internal table, right? For that, to merge the records into one single internal table, what is required? There should be at least one common field between internal tables to match the records between first internal table to second internal table or first internal table to third internal table. If you have at least one common record, then we can merge the multiple internal tables into single internal table. So why we need to merge this multiple internal tables into single internal table, and why we need to select data from multiple tables into internal tables. So in general, when you are writing a programs or when you are writing the applications in ABAP, the data is not going to be available in single table, right? The data will be available in multiple tables. For example, if you are trying to select purchase order data, so there will be multiple tables where that purchase order data being saved. Okay, it's not going to be saved in a single table, right? So we need to select the data from all these multiple tables and we need to combine the data into one output format, right? So today we'll see how to do that using some standard tables. How many of you know purchase order or sales order? What is a purchase order?
When we want to buy anything, we need to purchase.
Yeah, purchase, yes.
Sales in the sense when somebody else wants, we have to provide them.
Okay, I'll tell you one simple example.
Sir, we can't hear your voice.
Is it?
Disturbance.
Give me a minute. Okay, so how many of you know purchase order? What is purchase order or what is sales order? Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
No. Let's say there is a company. What is this? Is that spelling correct? Domino's.
Yes, sir.
What do they manufacture? Like, what is their products? What are their products?
Pizzas.
Pizzas, right?
Pizzas,
Pizza
burgers.
burger.
Yes. So mainly into pizzas. They made pizzas.
Yes,
So
sir.
to make a pizza, what are the raw materials?
Flour,
Yes.
salt,
Corns,
Yes.
sauces,
oil,
cheese.
water, cheese,
Yeah.
spices, vegetables.
Vegetables, chicken,
What are the record? No, yes.
different.
Meat.
Yeah. Right.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So Domino's is going to make a pizza. Are they going to cultivate vegetables?
no, sir.
No, right? Are they going to manufacture the cheese, the spices, sauce? No, right? They don't do that. What they do, they buy the raw materials. By using those raw materials, they manufacture one finished product. What is the finished product here?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza is
Pizza.
the finished product. Raw material, different raw materials
Flour,
like
yes,
dough,
okay.
flour, sauce.
Some
Yes,
ingredients which we
meat.
use to prepare the pizza.
Yeah, whatever the ingredients they need to prepare the pizza, they need to buy it from some vendors,
Yes, sir.
not only one vendor, from different vendors, right?
Yes, sir.
So please mute. Someone's mic is making noise. Now, okay. So to buy that, for example, to buy those ingredients, what they do? They just go to the market and buy the vegetables. No, right? Domino's,
Orders,
Domino's,
vendors.
yeah, Domino's people are going to daily going to market and buy vegetables.
No, sir.
No.
They won't do that. So they select a supplier or vendor, right? Who will supply those ingredients daily whenever they require, right?
Yes, sir.
Those are the raw materials for Domino's, right?
Yes,
For example, today they want to buy some ingredients. How they are going to buy it? They are going to call the vendor and order them. Hey, send me these ingredients, each one 100 kgs. Are they
they
going to
have
do
to
that?
place an order.
They don't call them and order them, right? Are they don't? Are they going to simply send an email? No. In any company, there should be some process to procure the raw materials, right? So first they'll create the purchase requisition for the raw materials what they want, or what are the raw materials they are looking for, and then they'll create the purchase order. Maybe in between they have vendor selection and many other process. After purchase requisition, they'll go for vendor selection. So vendors will send the quotations, right, for the proposed raw materials. Hey, we are going to supply your raw materials with this price before this date, and every vendor will send their quotations. Then Domino's procurement team will analyze those vendors quotations, and they'll choose one vendor. Depends on their credibility, depends on their quality of the product, depends on their price. What is the price they are giving? They are going to select one vendor, right? After the vendor selection, they create a purchase order. So what they are going to create after vendor selection? Purchase order. That's called purchase order. What does this purchase order contains? This purchase order contains a order number will be generated, and what are the details available here?
Required.
Their data.
So when they create the purchase order, it contains two things, PO header and PO item. What is PO header? PO header contains PO number, a number will be generated, purchase order number, and vendor, who is the supplier for this purchase order, and then net price. There are many more details, but these are few important details. It contains purchase order number and the vendor, who is the vendor, and the net price, right? And what does the item contains? When you ordered something in online, so are you going to order only one material or multiple materials also can order?
Multiple also we can
Multiple
order.
can also order, right? We can also multiple materials, depends on our requirement. So the PO might contain one material or more than one material. Okay, there might be the company might be ordering only one material or more than one material. In that case, we have items maintained in PO item data. What does the item data contain? PO number and item 1 and what is that material, quantity of the material, price of the material, right? So what do we have in item details? Purchase order number is common in both header and item data. Along with purchase order data, we have item number also, item 1, 2. In SAP, they are maintained like 10, 20, 30. Okay, like that. If you have three items will be maintained in PO item data. What is the common field between PO header data and item data?
PO number.
PO number, purchase order number is the common field. If the company is ordering multiple materials, you'll be having two records created in the PO item for each material. For example, material 1 and for material 2. Okay. If you are ordering only one material, PO item will contain only one record with item number 1 and material 1. Okay. If you are ordering more than one record, you can find, if you are ordering more than one material means different material, not the same material. If the material is same, for material 1, quantity will be maintained, right? How many materials you are going to order. But if the material is completely different, then another record will be created in the item level for material 2 and the corresponding quantity and price, right? So in SAP, we have tables to maintain this purchase order data. EKKO is a purchase order header table. EKPO, purchase order item table. Okay. EKKO is the purchase order header table. EKPO is the purchase order item level data table. So what is the common field in both tables?
PO number.
Purchase order number is the common field. Okay. Now we have another table, MARA and MAKT. This is a material text table. So here in this table, right, in EKPO table, right, we just maintain the material number. We don't maintain the text. What is the name of the material? We just maintain the code, material code. But to find the material text, in which table we need to select the data? From which table we need to select the data?
Material text.
KT.
MAK.
MAKT table. MARA is a material master table. So whatever the materials you are going to use in any transaction, First, those materials should be created in MARA table. If that material is already created in MARA table, then only you can use that material in purchase orders or sales orders or any other transaction codes. Okay? But if you want to know what is material 1, the text will be maintained in which table?
MAKT table.
MAKT table. Now, someone asks you to display purchase order data report, PO data report. From which table you need to select the data?
EKPO, EKPO,
EKKO. First EKKO.
EKPO.
EKKO is the header record,
Okay.
right? And next EKPO.
EKPO.
EKPO is the item record for the header record, right? It's like parent and child. Header is the parent, item level record is the child. Okay? Without the header record, there is no item record.
Item.
There is no item record. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, these are few important tables related to purchase order. So is everyone able to understand what is purchase order? So when the company needs to buy some some raw materials, they'll create a purchase requisition and then they'll accept quotations from the vendors. So once the vendor is finalized, what is the order they are going to create? Purchase order, right? Once the purchase order is created, vendor will send the goods, right? Maybe those raw materials. Vendor will deliver those raw materials, and once the raw materials are delivered, finance department will pay the amount.
Amount.
Procurement department.
Yeah. So the amount will be processed from finance department,
Finance department.
right? So this purchase order flow. So now we'll select the data from purchase order tables and we'll merge the data into one final internal table. Okay. First we'll check the table data. So this is the purchase order header table EKKO. So these are the purchase order records. Purchase document number. This is purchase document number, company code. So every company will have a code, company code. These are all the details. Supplier nothing but vendor. Okay. And exchange rates, document date. So header record will contains the net price, combined value of both the multiple items. Okay. So the header record will contains the net value, the combined value of multiple items. Okay. So these are the purchase orders. So what is the primary key here in this table? EBELN. EBLN is the primary key. Now go to EKPO. What are the primary keys here? EBLN and EBLP. What is EBLP? EBLP is the item
Item
number.
purchasing that.
EBLP is the item number, purchase order item number. Okay. EBLN is the header number, right? Here we have two primary keys because we need to maintain multiple purchase document items, right? For each purchase orders, we might have multiple items, right? If the customer, if the company is going to order multiple raw materials, so each material will represent one item. Now, purchase order document number 1 contains only one item, 2 also contains only one items. Items will be like this, 10, 20, 30, like that. We'll find one purchase order number with multiple items. If you observe this, 6302. This purchase document number contains two items, 10 and 20. Item number 10 and item number 20. Right? What is the material? This is the material code, what they are ordering. Right? So to find this material name, in which table you need to select the data?
KT.
MAKT is the material text table. So if you see, we in transactional tables, right, we maintain the codes, we don't maintain the names. Okay, to find the name, we have text tables. For the corresponding text table, we need to open to find the name. For example, this is a plant. Plant means some factory. To know what is the name of this plant, you need to go for plant text table. In the plant text table, name will be maintained. Okay. If you take this 6504, how many items it contains? 3
Items.
items, 10, 20, 30. Each item represents one new material, right? New material and unit of measurement, PO quantity. How many? What is the quantity they are ordering? 100. What is 100? What is 100? Is it kgs, liters, tons, centimeters? What is 100? In SAP, please observe, to represent the quantity, what do we use? Unit of measurement. What is this? Unit. PC means per piece. 100 pieces. Right? What is this? 40 kg. This one, 10 bags. Usually cement or products like this, they measure in bags. Right? EA means each item. EA means each item. This is the unit. Quantity and the corresponding unit. Right? Because if you just say 100, what is 100? No one knows, right? Is it kgs, liters? No one knows, right? So we
Yes,
need
sir.
to maintain the corresponding unit of measurement also. Net price. What is the net price?
Total value
Value
of
of the item, that particular material. Right?
yes, sir.
What is 16 and what is this? Net price and net value. What is the difference? Net price is per item. Maybe each one, what is the value? Here, how many materials they are ordering for this record?
100.
100 records. Sorry, the quantity
100.
is 100. What is the per piece quantity? Sorry,
16
per
point.
piece price? 16 rupees
16
67
point.
16.
paisa.
5.
16 rupees 67 paisa. What is net value? 100 into
16
16.167 paisa. Right?
And the
That is the net
60.
value. Okay?
Yes, sir.
That is the net value. Okay. This one. That is the difference between net price and net value. Now, so we have material here, right? To find the material, we need to go for MAKT table. Now let's merge EKKO, EKPO and MAKT tables. Okay. Let's create a program. I need some input, right? Because each these tables contains thousands of records, right? I'll use some inputs to filter the data. This contains 1783 records, the total records available in this. For this company code, how many records? 5 records are available for this company code. Company code 1000. So let's select the purchase order records by company code. Okay. So instead of selecting all the records, or you can also use created date. When that purchase document number is created, you can also use that. Okay. Or supplier, vendor, who is the supplier of that material. You can also use supplier number to select the records. We'll take this one, this supplier number 34000, 34,000. Supplier number is 34,000. What is the name of the supplier field? In the field, in the table, this one, Lifner. Lifner is nothing but supplier. Okay. We'll select the data by vendor. Okay. Let's create the program. Are you guys able to try this? Now you know what is header data and what is item data and what are the common fields. Can you guys try this? I'll give you 15 minutes. What do you guys say? Can you try merging EKKO and EKPO first?
Yes, sir. We'll try.
Okay, we'll try. We'll take 10 minutes and try. Okay, I'll pause this. Okay, so let's create a program to select purchase order data and display as output. Is a transaction code to create a program. SC38. PO data merge. I'm creating this program in 2021 server. Create the program. So this is very important concept, right? If you're not able to understand properly, please let me know. I'll explain one more time.
Okay, sir.
Because in general, in projects, you need to select data from many tables and you need to merge all the data into one final output, right? Once you are able to understand the concept, how you are able to identify the common fields between internal tables, and how you need to read the data, and how you need to populate it to the final internal table. Even there are 20 internal tables, the concept is same. Okay, if you are able to understand it for one internal table or two internal tables, right, the concept is same for multiple. Even there are 30 internal tables, you need to follow the same process. You may need to write, or you may need to implement more lines of code if you have more internal tables, but the concept is same, right? Now, so what is my requirement? I have to select and display the purchase order data as output, right? So let me select the fields whatever I want to display in the output. First I'll select the fields from EKKO. EKKO is the header data, right? So I'll take EBLN. EBLN is the purchase order number, and I'll take company code. Don't confuse. So this is called data elements, nothing but it represents type and length. Okay, or if you can also take this one char4 or like that. Okay, for now I am taking whatever the data element here, right? This represents the same data type. Okay, since I did not introduce these data elements, so you can also use this data type and length. Okay, for now company code, and I'll also select vendor, that is listener, character 10. I'm taking data element. Data element nothing but it represents the data type of the field. Okay, begin of ty underscore final EBLN type. So there is some static noise. If you attend the interviews with the same microphone, the interviewer will need to consult a eye doctor. Sorry, not eye doctor, ear doctor. ENT. So I've selected fields from EKKO. Now I am selecting fields from EKPO. I'll select item number, purchase order item number, because header number is already there. EBLN is already there. We have selected it from EKKO. That's why I'm not taking. Or I'll place next to this, next to EBLN, purchase order item and purchase order header. And I wanted to display material. What is the material? And text, purchase order text. If you select Control Y, if you select Control Y, you can see this plus symbol. Then you can drag and select, right? If you want to select multiple fields, type.
These are in different tabs, sir,
Which one?
which you're showing the data in other tab, right? Yeah,
This one?
this one.
Hmm. That's what I'm saying. Data element represents each field's data type and
No,
length.
sir, is this different tab you opened in SAP?
No, no, it's a
Or is this-
S11 table, right? It's a table.
Okay, sir.
It's a table. In table, you can find the data element. Data
Okay.
element contains data type and length, nothing but. Okay. I'll
Okay.
explain in detail when we are working on tables. But for now, you can also take this data type and length. No issue. Okay. If you are confusing, just take this data type and length instead of this. Okay.
But how can we get to know?
Hmm.
Means like fields we are giving, right? Fields and data type length you mean?
These are fields.
Okay.
This is data type. These are corresponding type of the field. For example, if you take MATNR, what is the type? Character 40.
Character
That is
40 limit.
configured in this data element. Data element
Okay.
name is also same as field name. Okay, don't confuse. This is a data element. This is not a field. Okay,
Okay.
this data type and length is configured in this data element. So why we
Yes.
use this and all, I'll explain later. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You can also take data type and length if you are confusing. Don't forget about data elements. Okay.
Okay, sir.
For now, I'm taking material number, but we need material text, right? What is the table for material text? MAKT.
MAKT.
So this is the material number. What is the primary key here? Material number is the primary key. If you enter the material number, it will return the material text like this. Usually in text tables, right, the text will be maintained in many languages, multiple languages. Do you know why? The descriptions will be maintained in multiple languages in any text table, in any description. Do you know why? Because when the English user logged in using English language, all the options and text should be displayed in English, right?
Yes, sir.
When the German user logged in,
It should be in their
German
language.
yeah,
language.
that's why we take a separate table to maintain the descriptions, right? That is called text tables for each one. For materials, MAKT is the text table. So here we maintain descriptions in different languages. Okay, like English, German, whatever the language your country or your organization is supporting, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, so we have material number, this is material number, and this is material text, material description. This one, MAKTX, this is the material description. What is this? MAKTG, this is material description in uppercase. Okay, uppercase, this is just for uppercase letters. So it is case sensitive. MAKTX is case sensitive and MAKTG is uppercase. We'll take this MAKTX to display the material description. Type. What is the type? You can take character 40 or just take data element. Data element name is also same as field name. End of. Now define the work area. Mute the radio. Okay. So I've defined my final structure and internal table and work area. Now, so I need a program. I need an input for the program. I don't want to select all the fields. Maybe I don't want to select. Okay, let's forget. I don't want to confuse now. So let's select all the data. First, what is the table that we need to select? EKKO, EKPO or MAKT?
EKK. EKKO.
EKKO, because that is the header table. Select EBELN. What are the fields from EKKO? Bookers, that is company code, and vendor listener. And Okay, from EKKO into table IT is not defined yet, so I have to use data at the rate data.
At the rate data.
So I'm not using any where condition, but going forward we have to use where conditions because we should not select all the data from the table. We should filter the data, depends on some selection criteria. If sy-sub rc equal to 0, what does that mean? If the above select statement is successfully executed and it is able to select at least one record from the database, then execute the next select statement. What are the fields we need to select from the next level table? EBELN, EBELP. These two are the primary keys of EKPO table, right? What else? MATNR, material number, and
X
yeah, TXZ, what is that?
01.
TXZ01. I think TXZ01 is before material MATNR or after? Yeah, before only. So I'll always take in the sequence, even though it will work, but I'll always follow the table order to maintain the fields. First one in the first place, second one in the second place. What happened to this now? Always remember when you are writing a program, right? Please save it for every 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Okay?
Okay, sir.
If you write 100 lines of code and something happened, maybe due to some power failure or due to some server issue, if it is disconnected, right? Again, you have to write the program from beginning, right? That's why just save it for 1 minute or 2 minutes. Just Control S. That's it, right? If there is any issue, server issue, so you can open it later, right? You don't need to write from the beginning. You need to start from the last save point. Okay, from which table? I always like to break the statements. I don't write statements in the same line, right? Because you can't see those statements in the debug mode. If you write statements in the same line, when you are debugging, the characters after maybe 37, maybe after 50 or 60, you cannot see them. After this, in debugger screen, you cannot see those statements. That's why I always break the statements into next line. Okay. EKPO. I'm not using where condition, but it is very important to use where conditions. So, okay, where do I have material data in EKPO table, right? So in EKPO, I have header, purchase order number, item number, and corresponding material, right? If I have data in EKPO, if I have at least one record in EKPO, I'll go and select data from MAKT. What is MAKT table? Select material number, material
AKTX.
text. Why I'm selecting material number? I need only material text, right? From
Common field.
MAKT table, but there should be a common field, right? When we are looping the data, how can we match if we don't take material number in the internal table, right? We cannot match this record, EKPO record and MAKT record, right? Without having any common field. That's why I have taken EBLN here in both tables, EKKO and EKPO, to match the records, right? So the common mistake of the beginners, they don't take fields, common fields. They just select the data, whatever they require. But when they are looping it, right? They're not able to match. From MAKT into table get of data IT underscore MAKT. Do I need to select all the records from MAKT? Anyway, I'm selecting all the records from EKKO and EKPO. It makes sense to select all the records from MAKT also, since I'm not using where conditions for the above two tables. But I told you one thing, right? How the text is being maintained in text tables. MAKT is text table for materials, material numbers. How the text is being maintained in text table in different languages, right? In multiple languages, correct? So what are the primary keys here? This is a text table, material description text table. So how many primary keys are here?
Three prime.
So
Two
forget about MA and DT, but we have two primary keys, material number and SPRAS. What is SPRAS?
is key.
Language key,
Language.
language key. Okay. For example, if you pass English language, it will select all the text in English language. If you pass German, it will select all the records in German language, those corresponding records, right? So what we'll do here, instead of writing, instead of selecting everything, we select only English language records. Spras equal to en, that is the English language code. Or we have a system variable which maintains the current login language, that is s5 hyphen langu. What is this s5 hyphen langu? System language, current login language, right? Since we logged in using English, what is the value available in this? English, en. Okay, automatically it will select texts only in that login language. Okay, if you use sylangu using spras, always remember when you are selecting the data from text tables, right? That might be a material text table or any other text table. What is mandatory? Passing spras means
Language.
language in the
Plus.
where
Plus
condition
language.
is very mandatory. Okay,
Okay, sir.
otherwise you are going to select same record in multiple languages. For example, there is a material 100. 100 is the material number. Material text is some car, right? The text is being maintained in MAKT table in multiple languages. If we don't pass the language as condition, it will select multiple records, same car in multiple languages, right? We don't need that, right? We don't need language which we logged in, right? So that's why I always pass the language in where condition. Now I've selected the data from three different tables. Now what's the next step? Merge the internal tables. Now tell me which internal table I need to use in the loop. What is the internal
EPO.
table that I have to loop? So if you
EKKO.
observe here, if you observe here, EBLN is the primary key. How many records you are going to find with the same EBLN number in this EKKO table?
Two record.
Sorry, how many? So EKKO, in EKKO, EBLN is the primary key. For each EBLN number, how many records will be available in EKKO table?
One.
One.
Only one record. Unique records will be
Yes.
maintained. No repeated
Yes.
entries for EBLN.
Yes, sir.
So this is one. Take this as one. Now, what is the common field between EKKO and EKPO?
EBELN.
ELN.
EBLN.
EB.
Now, tell me how many records you can find in EKPO for each EBLN number?
Only one.
Only one.
No, sir. Number.
Oh no, based on
EKPO is item level data, right?
Yes, sir.
For
Yes.
each header record might have multiple items. Depends on the materials, how many you are ordering, right? One or more records. That
Item
means
one
I'm
or more.
taking it as N. For each EBLN number in header data, multiple records will be available in item data. Let's check it here. Go to EKPO. Yeah, it is EKPO. So EBLN and EBLP are the primary keys here. These are the table records. Take any purchase order number with the repeated entries. If you take this 6302, how many records we have for each purchase order number?
3 records.
3 records are there, right? Item
Yes,
number 10, 20, 30, and corresponding material, right?
yes, sir.
So that means if you take EKKO, EKPO, what is the relation?
N2 EKKO to EKPO 1 to N.
One, one next.
EKKO is 1 and
EKK was
EKPO is
N.
N. For each record in EKKO, we have multiple records in EKPO, correct?
sir.
N is to 1. Now, how about MAKT? We have 3 tables, right? What is a common field for MAKT?
MATNR.
MATNR. So EKKO and MAKT. Compare both tables. EKKO and MAKT. For each material number in EKPO, how many records will be available in MAKT? One record for each language. Because it's a text, right? MAKT is a material text table, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
consider English. How many texts you can find for a single material for a single language?
Single
One, two.
record.
Single
Sir.
record. For each language, you are going to find only single record in MAKT. For each material in MAKT, how many records you can find in EKPO? That is purchase order item data. The same material number might be repeated hundreds
Repeat.
of times. For example, so earlier we are talking about Domino's example, right? They might order bread every week, right? They might create purchase orders for the same material hundreds of times. Yes. So the same with the same material number, there will be multiple purchase order items, correct? There will be multiple purchase order records with the same material, right? So last year they might created one purchase order to procure what is that ingredients, same material, and this year they have created one more purchase order for the same ingredients. Material number is same. So material number is repeating or not in purchase order item data. If you take this material 1101, is it repeating or not for different
Repeating,
purchase
sir.
orders?
So repeat.
For different purchase
Repeating.
orders, material number is repeating. For each material in EKPO, so we'll be having only one material in master data, that is MAKT material text. Now, so between EKPO and if you take MAKT, 1 is to what is a common field? Where we have the common field in EKPO, right?
MATNR.
MATNR is the common field. EKPO
people.
is the table. Here also n is to 1 relation, right? And the common field is
MATNR.
EKPO MATNR equal to MAKT. This is the common field, right? This is the condition to match the both records. What about this?